Wow, what a day. Definitely the hardest day I've had on two wheels ever. 74 Ks, 3,000 meters of downhilling, 3,000 meters of vertical climbing, 5,000 calories, average heart rate 145, 12 stages, 3 power stages, absolutely mental. And of course, e-bikes are for lazy people. Riders, welcome back to Sam's Bikes, where you know we only talk e-bikes. And wow, what a day. Absolutely mental. Hardest day of my life on a bike for sure. And we're gonna talk about how I found the race. I found it impossible to cover it with the pros and the amateurs because I was obviously racing. But if you do want to check out the coverage of the pros, Global Mountain Bike Network did amazing coverage. Link will be in the show notes. Go check that out. And before we start, I'm going to say we are in Finale Ligure, and what a place. You're going to see a bit of time lapse that I did this morning. I love Finale Ligure. Maybe I could move here. Like, I love Madrid, but Finale, what a place. Amazing pizza, amazing trails, amazing beer, amazing wine. Beach, not so amazing, but it's not bad. And we need to thank some people making it possible. Schwabi, amazing tires, Ride Concept, amazing shoes, and your EMTB renting, awesome specialized bikes in Spain. And Bea kept the whole team together. It's just being a legend, taking photos. And she also did a stock take. She took photos of every rider that finished stage 12. And we're going to talk about the motors, the brands, the tires, the brakes, what the most popular items were for the race bikes. And a massive shout out to Mark and Mark. We rode the whole day together. I couldn't have done it without them. We all had dark moments. And when I rocked up in the morning for the race, I had a surprise. Steve Jones was lining up next to me. He did a fantastic job. And you know, like, he hadn't done much training for this race. And you riders know I've done a fair bit. I think he finished in 5th or 6th, so massive effort from Steve. But the race, wow, what a mission. It was, we were all in the trenches. It was such a hard day out. I'm gonna say, sorry about the GoPro footage again. It was really hard for me to cover it as a journo and race it because I was suffering. But let's go stage by stage and I'll let you know how it went. So stage 1 was a power climb, about a minute and a half of hell. It was so hard, and my technical riding is rubbish. And just to make it worse, it rained the night before. It was so greasy out there. I didn't even make it up to the first corner. I finished 11th on that out of 15. So, you know, I need to work on my hill climbing. Stage 2 for me was a pretty good one. I felt pretty good on the bike, you know, like I took a 6 out of 15 on that stage, and I just felt good. On the first race in Crans, I did have that kind of imposter syndrome where I didn't think I really fit in there, but not on this time. I felt much more confident in what I was doing, and I felt I did have the speed, and yeah, it was, for me, that was a great stage. And stage 3, how brutal can you get? 8 minutes and 36 seconds of up, down, and everything in between. Oh, I finished 11th out of that. You know, I was training for like 3 to 5 minute stages. No one told me there was going to be an 8.5 minute stage with climbing and downhilling. So super hard. Stage 4 wasn't great for me, made loads of mistakes and ended up with a 12th. And that was the end of the first loop. So we were going back to the paddocks. And that first loop was the hardest one for me because I had to battery manage. And I'm so glad I had the Levo Gen 3 with the micro tune, because what I needed to do is get back with 40% battery power. So I had enough time to charge the battery. So when it was flat or not super steep, I was micro tuning between like 30 and 50%. And then when it went really steep, it went up to 100%. but I did get back to the paddocks with 38%, so we had enough time to change the batteries, have a little bit of food, and back out again. Stage 5, I felt good. It was a pretty fast downhill, techie downhill, and I took a 7th, which I was really happy with. Stage 6, if I'm honest, just started to blur into every other stage. I don't really remember that well, and I took a 10th. Stage 7 was pure evil, the second power stage. It was so steep, so nasty, so loose. I stuffed up the first corner and had to run. And by the time I got to the top, my heart was jumping out of my chest at like 187. I actually had to lie down for like a minute after that. I was a mess. And after the power stage is when I went into a bit of a dark place. I thank the marks for pulling me out of it. I was bonking. And the transition stages or the liaison stages were so hard, so steep, especially after being on the bike for that long after that power stage. Anyway, listen to this rant. Not being funny. And both stages were pretty lame. Like they weren't difficult. They didn't benefit a skillful rider. They benefited a fit rider. And maybe I missed the memo. I didn't realize this was a cross-country race or an Enduro-E cross-country. And somehow on stage 8, I got my second win and took a 6. I felt really good, really fast. And again in stage 9, I felt really good. Felt like I was riding fast and strong. But for some reason, the transcenders or the timers didn't work and they didn't record. And it's really annoying because, you know, like I think I had a good one. I think I would have been around 6 or 8. And I need to find out what happened because that's no good. Stage 10 felt good as well. Definitely back in the game and took a 7th. And then stage 11, I was feeling really good, was riding it really well, I thought. And that's when it went all Pete Tong. I took a massive crash on my head, arm, and ribs. Big impact. I also broke my front brakes. I actually bent all the disc rotors and I had 0 front brakes. So I managed to finish stage 11, but my arm was killing me. I thought I'd broken it. Luckily I haven't. I rested it for 48 hours or 30 hours and it feels a lot better now. But I had no brakes as well. And I had to make that tough decision and I decided to pull the pin. It really wasn't an easy thing, but I was exhausted. I couldn't put any weight on my hands, on my arm, and I had no front brakes. So I called it. But in my opinion, I think I finished it. I had one hill climb to go. And let's face it, I probably would have walked the hill climb anyway because I suck at hill climbing. But my take homes from the race was I need to be a lot fitter to do the finale leg. Maybe not the crans leg, but definitely finale. I think I spent too much time in the gym doing deadlifts and squats. And I probably should have spent more time doing technical hill climbing practice and a lot more road work. And I think the EWS did a fantastic job with crans and with finale. But in crans, I felt the trails probably benefited someone more that was crazy than really skilled. You know, like you could let the brakes off and you could go really fast in open trails that were cut into the side of a mountain. They weren't, in my opinion, they weren't great trails. And in finale, you know, we actually rode in Petro Ligure, not in Finale Ligure, which was disappointing because finale has fantastic trails and Pietra, in my opinion, not as great. And it was kind of, there was some enduro. It definitely wasn't heavy enduro. It was more like a cross-country endurance race, you know, like we were riding for like 9.5, 10 hours, 5,000 calories. I would have liked to have seen the race shorter, around 5 hours, 4 hours. I would have liked to have seen some harder downhills, maybe some drops, some jumps, to really push the other side of the ability, because some of us, like myself, I can't hill climb, but I can jump and I can ride pretty good downhill. So I felt that it was an enduro EWS. I think we should have pushed a bit more the boundaries of that side. And also the climbing was good. But on, I would say like 4 or 5 out of the stages, the enduro stages, not the hill climb stages, they started in a technical hill climb. So it definitely benefited someone that was fitter and a better climber. And that's not me. But as I said, the EWS did a fantastic job, and we're still such early days. And I'm really excited to hopefully maybe next year do it. And I'm sure you're all thinking, can I do this? I'm gonna say the Crans Montagna for sure. Anyone that's a half decent rider with half decent fitness can get it done. But the finale, this one, I'm gonna say that there were moments that I didn't think I was gonna complete, and I would definitely want to be fitter next year for it if I do it. And if I do it, I think I'm gonna set up a Sam's Bikes team, just with some relaxed people to hang out and ride bikes, have some beers in the evening, and, you know, just have a good time. Because the main thing that I took home from this is meeting amazing people. I rode with the Marks, and, you know, we really stuck together and looked after each other, and I thought that was the fantastic part about the race. And over the last 6 months, I did do a fair bit of training, and what I liked about the preparation for this event, or these events, it got me out of bed, it got me to the gym, it got me a hell of a lot fitter than I was. So I think entering those type of races is really good to keep you motivated, keep you on track, and I'm a better rider now for it. And now we have a little open chat with the Marks about how we all found the race. Friday morning after the marathon slash cross country slash enduro slash free ride slash downhill race with Mark and Mark. Guys, it was so awesome riding.
Yeah.
We kind of made it all work together. We had moments of suffering, moments, very dark moments, even darker moments. And we actually did all the practice together, and Mark taught me to do some technical climbing. Didn't teach me that well because I still suck at it, but he's really good.
You don't suck as bad as me.
And this guy's a powerhouse. He was just smashing up the hills. It was like, I see you at the top. I was like, all right, mate, see you later.
Yeah.
And you both win the Legend Riders Award this week, because this is what it's all about, you know, getting together. We didn't win. We didn't come last.
No,
we didn't come last.
We didn't come
last.
well.
We did. Wow, we won meeting people.
Yeah, we won, exactly.
We were the first losers.
So the Legend Award goes to, so I'm really sorry, these are second-hand shoes.
No worries.
I hope they fit.
Yeah.
And Mark, this is a used Big Betty.
Fantastic.
I think you can really enjoy
I'll
that.
hang it on my garage wall with pride.
Only joking. Send me your addresses. I'll get your addresses after. We'll send you out a new set. Thanks,
Awesome.
Schwarby Ride Concepts. But quickly, Mark, what did you think of the day? And give me some pros and some cons. And maybe if you were doing it again, how you might change things.
So the pros, got to ride with some fantastic guys. Lovely. Min, Sam and Mark. That's the best. Really good experience. Really kind of taught me a lot. We learned off each other. But it was really hard. Hardest thing I've done on a bike. E-bike, road bike, whatever. Just the hardest thing I've ever done. Brutal, and probably a bit too much for me. They need to maybe tone it down a bit, I think. Yeah, and the climbing trails were super steep, super hard. I had a proper sense of humour failure. Luckily, Sam and Mark were here to jivvy me along, but I think we all went through that.
At one point, we were thinking of striking and all riding naked with our asses hanging out. There was some dark moments.
I think I nearly did, didn't I? Ride naked.
Yes, he did strip off. What would you done to make it better?
Had 2 or 3 less stages.
Yeah.
And the last climbing stage was just too much.
Yeah.
We'd done too much climbing.
Yeah.
And stuff. And
we ended up being on the bikes for like 8 hours.
yeah.
9.
So
Yeah.
9 hours.
9
So it was kind of more like, for me, I reckon it was kind of like a cross country slash trail riding, a little bit of enduro riding. There wasn't that much enduro riding. Like the riding wasn't that hard, but it was more a physical, mental game. And the other, Mark, what did you find? How did you find the whole experience?
I thought the best bit about it was riding around with a couple of new friends. We all had a nice day. I was going to quit on the first loop. I was so sick of it, but we had our coffee, we had a bit of grub, you had a little team talk. It was good, and we went out again. I thought, time we got onto the second loop, and then the third, it was all right. I felt all right at the end. It was all right. We were still going. So that was the good bit of it, and it should be the good bit, because it's like big day out in the mountains with friends, isn't it? And it's nice to ride. I felt like the climbing stages, if you weigh more than really 70 kilos, you're just going to be enjoying. This was our climb master, and I learned a lot, which is fantastic. It's always great to learn something new. My shoulders still hurt from all the pulling up that you showed. But it's good, because when you climb the stages on the practice day, I've got no excuse. We're the same age, we're similar build, and we had the same tyres on. So if you could do it, I could do it. But I think even you said it was tough.
Hang on, really, what tyres were they?
Schwalbe tyres. Schwalbe, eddy currents.
Eddy currents front.
Great.
And you know, you can't then, when I watched you do it, it was great, because it's a motivation, isn't it? There's no excuse there, is there? I can't say you're a pro or you're lighter than me, or anything, you know. It was good. And so I felt like I got a lot out of it. I climbed a lot better by the end of the second day.
You guys were shredding. Yeah,
really. Which was great. And I you know, it's good, and it's an experience, isn't it? Yeah, it's an experience. We finished, and we did it, and it's
trying to keep up with this man on the down was that was pretty hard in practice. In the race, not a chance.
Well, guys, it was really lovely to meet you both. And don't be strangers.
Good riding,
in Madrid. Come and say g'day. And yeah, are we going to be back next year?
Maybe a few more days to consider.
I need a few more weeks to think about that.
I think it's like, it always seems pretty emotional after the day, but then you come round and you you know, I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much.
No worries.
Cheers. Cheers. Good riding.
And riders, that's it for me this week. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was an epic couple of weeks. I thank each and every one of you for your support. It's amazing. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Share it with like-minded people. And you know it. Stay safe out there. And I'm going to see you next Sunday.